New this morning, all classes and activities at Fridley Public Schools are canceled again today due to continued safety concerns.
Now, it comes just a day after police say they arrested a 13-year-old responsible for threats earlier this week. Fridley schools closed yesterday after getting those threats on social media Tuesday afternoon. Detectives are still investigating. They say they will release more information soon.
Today is eviction day for people who live in a large encampment in St. Paul. The city served eviction notices last week for people staying near the Bruce Vento Nature Sanctuary just east of downtown. The city says there have been hundreds of calls for police, fire, and medical services, including several multi-tent fires. The Homeless Assistance Response Team is helping residents clean the area and move or store their belongings.
To the 2025 state legislature now, because the state Supreme Court here in Minnesota will weigh in on the power struggle that's taking place in the Minnesota House of Representatives.
Democrats are boycotting the start of the session while Republicans are plowing ahead. Our Barrett Leone joins us live from the newsroom with an update on this brutal back and forth, Barrett.
Yeah, with both sides at a gridlock, it doesn't look like either side is willing to bend. But it didn't stop House party leaders from attending a Chamber of Commerce event last night. Take a look at this exchange between DFL Representative Melissa Hortman and GOP Representative Lisa Damuth. DFLers are waiting for a special election later this month. If a DFL candidate wins, the chamber would be tied. But again, Republicans are moving forward with a one-seat majority, even electing Damuth as Speaker. Here's what both parties had to say last night.
From the time I was a child, I was always told, you cannot just skip work when you don't like the conditions. We showed up with 67 people. Democrats had 66, and because it wasn't a tie, because of an open seat in Roseville, they didn't want to come to work.
We both have an obligation to the rest of Minnesota to keep talking, no matter how irritated we might be at each other right now.
The DFL and Secretary of State are asking the Supreme Court to put a halt to everything in the House until after that special election. Justices will hear that case a week from today.
All right, thanks so much, Barrett. Happening today, a huge announcement when it comes to how the state of Minnesota spends your tax dollars. Governor Walz and Lieutenant Governor Flanagan plan to present this year's state budget. We will learn more about what they're proposing today at noon. We'll let you know what they say. And some of you watching us in southern Minnesota right now could soon be Iowa residents if a lawmaker has his way. Iowa Republican State Senator Mike Busolo wants our 9 southernmost counties to become part of his state. He says he plans to introduce a bill to make it happen.
And right now there's a bill in drafting in the Iowa House and in the Iowa Senate that would announce our intent to enter into negotiations to purchase those counties.
Busolo says his idea is simply a way to grow Iowa's economy. The Iowa Senate, House, and Governor would all have to sign off on the bill to start negotiating with Minnesota. When Minnesota Democrats caught wind of the plan, they shared this counteroffer. No.
We're coming up on 6:06. We want to get you caught up on what's happening internationally. This is something new overnight. There could be a snag in that ceasefire deal in Gaza after close to 15 months of war. Sunday, Hamas is expected to gradually release the first of 33 hostages over 6 weeks. That includes women, children, the sick, and men over the age of 50. Now, in exchange, Israel said that it'll release more than 1,000 Palestinian prisoners. Well, now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, well, he's saying something different. Matter of fact, he says that Hamas is going back on some of the agreements. Meanwhile, the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry says Israeli airstrikes have killed 72 people since that deal was announced. We'll keep monitoring any new developments. Of course, we will bring those to you. Now, closer to home, people on both sides of the story are cautiously optimistic after that long-awaited announcement of peace.
One can only imagine the exultation, the relief of the families when they see their loved ones after 467 days.
We could finally bury the dead that we haven't been able to reach. We can finally unearth the so many people under the rubble who we haven't been able to bury.
Steve Hunnigs with the Jewish Community Relations Council says all that happiness may be tempered by anguish for those who find out their loved ones have died in Hamas custody. And Tahir Herzlah works as the Director of Outreach and Grassroots Organizing for American Muslim of Palestine, Minnesota. He says he's lost 9 family members in the conflict. He's now hoping those responsible for the tens of thousands of deaths in Gaza are held accountable.
New this morning, we're getting information on how many people brought guns to airports last year. The Transportation Security Administration intercepted 6,678 of them last year, and about 94% of those weapons were loaded. One silver lining is about 50 fewer than 2023 were found. For context, more than 904 million people the TSA screened last year. Here at home, MSP says they detected 52 firearms last year.